Good morning, good morning. Yeah, we are off to a very interesting start today as we are here in the city of Orlando. So first and foremost, let's get the formalities out of the way. Good morning. Happy Thursday. Hope you're having a great morning so far. Yeah, we were supposed to do some crazy, awesome stuff today, but the Florida Highway Patrol decided to cancel on me very last minute, so we're here. I had a viewer giving me this walking stick yesterday. Thanks, man. So our topic today, my backup topic was jaywalking, the term jaywalking. What is it? Why does it exist? Is it illegal? What are the dangers of it? And why do we complain about it so much? And then during the morning newscast, we had crash after crash come out. We had a fatal crash along Palm Parkway this morning in the attractions area by Disney, just east of 535. And then this one happened. Excuse me. This is going to be, we're currently out at West Colonial Drive at John Young Parkway, and you can see that is police crime scene tape, police line, do not cross, and they have this area blocked off. All lanes of the area of Colonial at JYP are shut down, and this is because of someone jaywalking, not walking in the travel lanes where they're supposed to be, and ultimately being struck by a van that you see right there. The worst part about it, this gentleman, from what I am being told from someone who knew him or knows him, roughly in his 70s, there is a walker out here that was impacted. And this is the kind of stuff breaks my heart. Absolutely destroys me, because it's all 100% avoidable. And I understand there are times where it's inconvenient because the crosswalk is so far. But this guy just possibly ended his life. I'm waiting for confirmation from OPD by simply doing something maybe he didn't think was going to get him hurt. And that sucks. So right now, the Orlando Police Department is investigating this because we are in the city. I do want to get out. I want to go out to the scene a little bit. We'll walk it. We'll talk about it. And we'll see where the crosswalk's actually located out here. But on the flip side, I don't care where the crosswalk is located. If you're crossing in low light times, these drivers are not expecting you there. This driver did stay out on scene. I was able to observe his behavior a little while ago, and the guy's distraught. So everything we do on Trooper Steve on patrol is about teamwork, is about us working together so we can stop this mess from happening. Let's hop out of the truck. It is cold today, but we'll go see what's going on. So I'm going to switch over to the body cam. I'm currently wearing my body cam, and we'll go for a little walk out there. All right, let's hop on out and go check this out. Take my phone with me. So if you're just joining us, you're live with me on my body cam as we make sure everything's working. I'm going to tilt it up a little bit here. Let's go for a walk. So crosswalks are there for us. They're there for us as the pedestrian. They're there so that we have a safe place to walk. When we travel in the roadway, well, we are now entering into an area that is dangerous, does not technically belong to us, and we as the pedestrian, me right now, I'm a pedestrian. Even though I'm in a closed parking lot, I still need to be super cautious. Why? Because I'm walking in an area that cars would normally walk at. So we're going to go around the police tape, because technically, if you cross this tape right here, you are then in violation of the law. So I'm just trying to get a little distance here. If my signal drops, hopefully one of my guys will let me know, or Brenda, our master web person. We're going to come up here just so we can kind of see what's going on a little bit. And you can see here, where are we looking, right? We're looking towards John Young Parkway that way. Ferguson is the next light over there. What do we have along this sidewalk? Clear sidewalk where we should be walking all the time, and then up ahead a crosswalk. But for about a 2.5 block stretch, we don't have much going on out here. What I mean by that is crosswalks. But just because they're not here doesn't mean we should not be using them. Stand by. You can see there that crime scene, putting together evidence, collecting the evidence there. I do think that walker belonged to the pedestrian that was struck. Very unfortunate. You can see crossing mid-block at 5 o'clock in the morning. This area is dark, and I can almost guarantee this individual was not wearing all white clothing. So when you're walking, and if that's your only source of transportation, well then we need to do it extremely carefully. Because if that's what you're doing all the time, you need to be aware of what your dangers are in your life. This was 100% avoidable. Let's be careful crossing over here. So the term jaywalking, let's talk about that. Jaywalking is to cross or walk in the street or road unlawfully without regard for approaching traffic. So a jaywalker would be someone who crossed the road and then impeded the flow of traffic. But why do we call it jaywalking? Well, the term jaywalking appeared when it was thought that people were not educated, or were, I don't want to say dumb, because that's what the definition uses, by walking across the road when it was unsafe to do so. The word started being used in like the early 1900s, and then first issued in 1909 in the Chicago Tribune. So when you think about that, it's slang that was used at one point, right? And is jaywalking illegal here in the United States? So when it comes to the actual term jaywalking, you're not going to find that anywhere within Florida statute. What you are going to find is violation of right-of-way, failure to obey traffic control device, things like that. The term itself, jaywalking, is not the violation. It's what we're calling the individual person. Now, Florida law enforcement does not use this term in its everyday kind of work. They don't. We don't use it in any type of report writing, because technically it's a slang term. Why do people do it though? I'll tell you. It's not malicious. Normally you get some sarcastic response from me. It's because they gotta go where they gotta go. And sometimes the crosswalk is so far that it could inconvenience them 15-20 minutes. So people take the chance. I'm not going to say the opportunity, because there is no opportunity. No opportunity is ever presented to do that. And you can be given a pretty hefty ticket for it. So let's talk about what kind of citation. Pedestrians can receive traffic citations. Whether you're walking, you're biking, you violate something, you could receive a ticket for it. Now, is law enforcement going to come out here and sit out here in the median in the middle of the night and ticket jaywalkers or people who violate the traffic control device or the right-of-way? Probably not. Just like there are other super minor stuff that law enforcement, we would rather educate you on so we don't have to deal with it. So you can have a good life and you can just commute and do what you need to do. It's almost in my mind that we should be proactively giving tickets. But most of the people, and I was able to talk with a guy out here who said he knew the pedestrian that was hit, informed me he was lower income, he was in his mid-70s, and woke up every day at 5 a.m. so that he can go work or volunteer. These are our walkers, guys. These are the people who are, unfortunately, that do get hit. It's not always just the bicyclist out there or whatnot. Hold on one second. Sorry guys, the crime scene folks were moving some stuff. So why is it still a problem? Because we don't have enough crosswalks. But we also can't put a crosswalk every 20 feet. We also can't be out there to tell people don't do certain things all the time. So we need to make sure that what we're doing is keeping our own self safe, man. We can't rely on everybody else to keep us safe. And we need to start making smarter decisions. So let's go over what Florida law says about failing to use a crosswalk. So pedestrian regulations fall under 316.130 under Florida statute, and that's the pedestrian traffic regulations. It goes through everything. There are several subsections on this, and it goes pretty clear on when and where a pedestrian should be crossing. Where sidewalks are provided, no pedestrian shall, unless required by other circumstances, walk along and upon the portion of the roadway paved for vehicular traffic. East and westbound out here on Colonial. If you're out here, this is the Pine Hills area. Clear sidewalks. Very clear sidewalks. Pedestrians shall be subject to traffic control signals at intersections as in other statutes, but all other places pedestrians shall be accorded the privilege and be subject to restrictions stated in this law. So, meaning you have to abide by these laws plus other laws that you may intermingle with. The driver of a vehicle at an intersection that has a traffic control signal, meaning a stop sign, a light, or something like that in place, shall stop before entering the crosswalk and remain stopped to allow pedestrian with a permitted signal to cross a roadway when the pedestrian is in the crosswalk or steps upon halfway of the roadway upon which the vehicle is traveling, and when a pedestrian approaching is so close to the opposite side. What does that mean? That means even within the pedestrian law, it talks about drivers and how they should be yielding to you. So a lot of people ask, hey Steve, when I yield to someone in the crosswalk, how long do I have to wait? Well, they have to get over halfway past the objective and out of your plane of travel in order for you to be allowed to go. So no pedestrian shall suddenly leave a curb or other place of safety and walk or run into the path of a vehicle which is so close that is it impossible for a driver to yield. That is exactly what occurred out here. This van struck this pedestrian. I can see the AOC, the area of collision. It's not far. The driver wasn't going too fast. He stayed on scene. Whenever any vehicle is stopped at a marked crosswalk or any unmarked crosswalk at any intersection to permit a pedestrian to cross the roadway, the driver of any other vehicle approaching from the rear shall not overtake and pass. Meaning, pull your head out of wherever it's at, and you need to pay attention all the time. Because if someone in front of you is yielding to a pedestrian, guess what? You need to yield to the car that's obstructing your travel, right? Between adjacent intersection at which traffic control signals are operational, pedestrians shall not cross at any place except a marked crosswalk. Wow, exactly what we were dealing with out here. So the law 316.130 says, subsection 11, again, between adjacent intersections which traffic signals are operating, John Young Parkway and Ferguson out here, a pedestrian shall not cross, meaning there is no room for question here, shall not cross at any place except in a marked crosswalk. Why is this written like this? Let's talk about why it's written just like this. It's written like this so scenes like this don't happen. It is strictly saying the law forbids you from crossing the roadway if you are in between two intersections that have operational signals and marked crosswalks. Pedestrians shall move whenever practical upon the right half of crosswalks. No pedestrian shall cross a roadway intersection diagonally. There are some places in the state that have diagonal crosswalks, but if they don't, then you do not. And notwithstanding other provisions of this chapter, every driver of vehicle shall exercise due care to avoid colliding with any pedestrians or any person propelled by human power, meaning a bicycle. So subsection 11 is our golden goose here. This is the one that specifically is telling us this is not allowed. So the jaywalking term started in the early 1900s and was a term came up, and I'll say it because we're streaming. It's a term that was used, and it's in the writing, that they thought these people were stupid. So they would call you a jaywalker. It's kind of funny. So the word jay was used to describe someone who was an idiot, a simpleton. The term jaywalk appeared when it was thought that people were stupid by walking across the road when it was unsafe to do so. Now, I don't know if that's up for debate, and I think stupid might be maybe a harsh term for somebody, especially if we've done it. We've all done it. I don't think we're all stupid. I do think we're careless sometimes. I think we forget, we don't pay attention. And we think that we're on top of the world when doing this kind of stuff. And we forget these vehicles, whether it's 35, 45, 55, or 70 miles an hour, if they hit you, they are going to win. Yeah, this van is out of commission at the moment, but now what? Now that van is still drivable. Where is our pedestrian? Not doing well currently. I am predicting a unfortunate outcome with this, simply because of the sources I have and the level of trauma this gentleman received. Now, the action of walking across the street at a place where it is not allowed or within taking care to avoid the traffic. Jaywalking is illegal. People were being arrested for minor crimes such as jaywalking and littering. Now, here, you cannot be arrested for jaywalking. It is a super minor offense, and you're not going to go to jail for it. But, hear me out. It's an easy way for law enforcement to make contact with you, because you are technically violating 316.130 subsection 11, where you're crossing a roadway, a highway, where there is no marked crosswalk, but yet I can see two of them to my right and one to my left. So it is a way to be contacted by law enforcement and detained, because you are violating a law. You are or you can receive a pretty hefty citation for it. I say minor, $100-something, but to someone who's a pedestrian constantly in an area like this, that can really jar you. So why are we crossing here? We're crossing here because if you look, there are stores all over the place. I'm currently in a plaza right now. Behind me back here, there is residents and apartments. So this area is extremely busy. And when stuff like this happens, now what? We're shut down. So this, I want to talk about this. I bought this recently because I don't like the obnoxious cape of a reflective vest. And when I work UCF games, they require law enforcement in uniform to wear a reflective vest so that we are easily identifiable. In a sea of black and gold, what are you going to see first? You're going to see this. This allows you to be seen. It reflects light, can pick up something from far away. I would encourage people, we've talked about it before, wear bright clothing at night. Buy something, or maybe a local shelter, a local volunteer place, something that you can keep on you when you're walking. Maybe it's not part of your daily attire because it's obnoxious. Can you imagine me walking around like this all day? Looks like I'm directing traffic at Chick-fil-A. But I keep this in the truck because it's easy just to throw up, clip. How easy would it be for a lot of these pedestrians out here to throw something like this on so they can be seen at night? I just came up with a crazy idea, but I can't tell you guys because it just happened in my head. So we're not going to talk about it, but it's going to happen. Oh my gosh, my brain just went nuts. So jaywalking is a term from the 1900s, early 1900s. It is not a legal term, but it is the description of someone who is illegally crossing the roadway at a point that there is no crosswalk. A jaywalker is when a crosswalk is available, but the person chooses not to use it. And that is pretty interesting. It's a low-level offense, and it's just a slang term. That's exactly what it is. It is a slang term. Someone just sent me a text. Hey, is that slang? That's all it is. There's no legal term for it. So crime scene is just now leaving here. Show you guys. See the crime scene vans off to the left-hand side. They were collecting evidence, collect the gentleman's walker, clothes, things like that. The evidence are collected in order to piece the crash back together. So I know this stream was extremely, you probably knew all this, but to understand where the term comes from, why the term is there, and what the term actually includes is pretty vital. So you don't want to be a jaywalker. Jaywalking is not a cool thing, right? It's probably pretty dumb. It's the same thing for those of you people who park real close to the railroad tracks and you think that it's going to be okay, and then when a crash happens, you're like, what happened? Well, the train hit you. This is what happens out here. It's part of the reason why I don't do much walking at night. Very hard to see. I know I'm almost 40 and my eyesight at night has diminished. Just imagine somebody maybe a little less healthier or other symptoms, and yet we're out here walking around with hoodies, dark colored clothing, and at low speeds. This gentleman in his 70s crossing an area that's 45, 50 miles an hour at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. It's not going to work out well. So please, we got to be a little smarter about stuff like this. Today was a rough morning to be reporting on all these things. It's not fun, guys. I would rather tell you that the roadway is clear, you're going to have an amazing day, than to tell you about a crash. I genuinely mean that. Being on scenes of stuff like this isn't fun. When I was a full-time crash investigator, I'd take this stuff home in my head. It's not cool. I get 76 notifications I've made, death notifications I've made in my career. 76 lives. Today OPD will make one. of those notifications if this individual dies. But the Florida Highway Patrol will make another one this morning for a female motorcyclist who died. So we can do better. We can pay attention. This stuff's avoidable. So I'm sorry for if my frustration is showing, but I care about you guys a lot, and it's the only reason I do what I do. I didn't go to school for any of this to be a reporter. I went to school to keep people safe, and when stuff like this happens, we can do better. We have to do better. So I love you guys. Please be safe. It's the holidays. No one deserves this, and use the freaking crosswalk, please. For now, live in the Pine Hills area, I'm gonna end this and try to get a little bit more information on this. Tomorrow, join me and Ezzy Castro as we will be delivering our Angel Tree toys to the Salvation headquarters. So that's going to be a great time. I love you guys. Have a great day. Please drive safely. Be smart. Use a crosswalk. We can do better as a community. Squeaky wheel gets the oil. When we see someone doing something not safe, I think we have an obligation to address it. I think we have an obligation as a community to encourage our community to be safe and quit being so careless. Hope you guys have an amazing Thursday.